What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. We're going to take a look at April O'Neil to see if she is the broken, meta-changing PvP champion that a lot of players thought she may be. Now, I got about 5 minutes of clipped up content to show you guys after this, so you don't have to watch me test her out in a bunch of different scenarios. This is the test server, so live server PvP fights are going to be a bit different, but when we look at her skill sets, her abilities, and her debuffs, this is what we have going on. Just a real quick overview. Her A1 ability has a chance, when booked up, 60-75% chance of placing a random crowd control ability, then a perfect veil on her for 2 turns. Her A2, when fully booked, is a 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown of stealing all buffs from a target, stealing, not just stripping, and also stealing 100% of the target's current turn meter. So a lot of turn meter cycling. Think of Armand's, but a much more scaled down version. And then a chance to place Nullify and Seal. Nullify is really what her kit is built around. This is a brand new debuff, and when reading it the first time, I was thinking this is going to be crazy. I even said it in my previous video. But with a little more testing, there are some things that I'm hoping are broken with it that's not working as intended. There's definitely some stuff working kind of weird over on the test server. I'll show you guys that in just a little while. But champions under Nullify cannot have their skills activated, participate in ally attacks, be granted an extra turn or an instant turn, have their skills cooldowns decreased, have their shield's value increased, have their destroyed HP restored, have their HP swapped by allies or themselves, evade enemy effects or skills, have their turn meter equalized or their HP balanced. To me, this sounded like they can't do anything. If you're under Nullify, you're just there, but you're not really there, and you just missed those turns. That is not at all what it's doing. It's actually a pretty terrible debuff, and you're going to see that in just a little while. Her A3 ability, increase accuracy, turn meter decreased on all enemies by 20%, and an extra turn. So you go A3 into A2, and her passive, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to read through it. It doesn't really matter for the sake of this A2 ability. If you want more turn meter manipulation, that's what you're going to get from here. So her masteries, I just stacked a bunch of accuracy, but ultimately this isn't really going to matter. She is pretty fast. She has good accuracy. She wasn't getting resisted. That wasn't a problem. But let's take a look at what she's actually doing. So let's take a look at some of these fights that I did. This one, I wanted to test what was going to happen on Odin, on Taras, Marichka, Siphi, not as big of a deal. Now here, Taras, if you block his active skills, he does not counterattack with this ability when Marichka is hit. Something to keep in mind. This is a skill. Now, if we press play, you're going to see what's going to happen. So right now, we have Nullify on Odin. We have Petrification from April O'Neil's A1 ability. We have still Nullify on Odin. Block damage placed up, no problem. So, of course, his passive is working. We're going to place the Nullify on the Taras. And then in a second, I'm going to hit the Marichka to see what happens here. Hopefully, I hit the Marichka. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Who knows? Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Let's hit the Marichka. Here we go. Hit the Marichka. Taras counterattacks. Okay. Uses an active skill. Uses the A2 to counterattack. Okay. So Nullify isn't stopping Taras from doing anything. It's not doing anything to Marichka. And it's not stopping any of the block damage. Okay. Well, it's not. It doesn't say it's going to stop any passives from activating. Okay. It's not a big deal. Let's go into this next fight. This next fight is against Marius. Now, Marius is his passive, which activates his skill 1. I personally would consider that being a skill activated, but Plarium doesn't, so we're going to see what actually happens here. So with this, we have April O'Neil getting enfeebled here, which that's what I was talking about was messed up. I use an extra turn there. Enfeeble was for 1 turn. I use extra turn, and it doesn't go down. I don't know what happened there, because you'll see me try to use the A2 here. Maybe I cut it out, but I use the A2. I get a weak hit, nothing places, no turn meter stolen because it's a weak hit. So of course against bad affinity, she can weak hit, but also here, the enfeeble didn't reduce duration at all, which maybe that's just a bug on the test server. Either way, I go back into this fight because I'm still curious as to what's going to happen here. So we just straight into the Nullify onto the Marius. Now, the Marius, some turn meter boost going on. April O'Neil's going to reduce their turn meter when they start getting turns anyways. So you'll see in a minute what's going to happen. If they actually get a turn, that is. There we go. So he still activated his A1, but maybe that's not considered an activation. There, you did actually see the effects of Nullify. Marius went to use his A3 ability to get the extra turn to use his A2. He could not get the extra turn. That blocked him. That was a cool use of Nullify. Very specific, but a cool use nonetheless. However, his A1 ability for the counterattacks does not count as using a skill being activated. Now, this fight, we have a few different champions with interesting things to test out. We have a Nice, who's a mythical champion, who April O'Neil was kind of thought to be a good counter to mythical champions, but you're going to see a big weakness in just a second. And that is when Marichka takes a turn, all of it's about to just be erased. So, of course, it can still be cleansed, no problem. Marichka got rid of that. Now, we're going against another Nice team. And this Nice team got it stripped. Very cool. We're going to lock out the Marichka this time. Then, we're going to keep going through our stuff. The Nice, what you're going to see in a second, is very unfortunate. There is going to be something that pops up that may be causing it to work a certain way, but I'm going to show you another fight later on that shows why that's not the only reason why it worked that way. A little bit cryptic, I know, but see, he switches forms, okay? So his passive triggered still, gave him what I believe is an extra turn. He goes over here. Now, you're going to see in just a second that he cleanses everything. He does have Chainbreaker on this Nice, so he can remove debuffs in general. So we'll chalk it up to, hey, maybe Chainbreaker got a lucky proc and has a chance to remove any debuff. Okay, that could be it possibly. But either way, the Nice is in the other form. The Nice is ready to mess me up, and it's just not a good day at this point. So now let's go into the next fight. The next fight is going to be against Siegfried and Marichka, but you're also going to see a Nice as well as a Queen of Hearts here. Now, Queen of Hearts, this is pretty cool because what you're going to see here is we buff up. Queen of Hearts is going to miss her extra turn. She's not going to get any turn from the buffs being placed. You can see effect blocked. Yeah, that's awesome. So she's nullified. She's not going to get the extra turns from her passive ability there because that grants her an extra or an instant turn. So she just misses that. Very nice. Well, not nice, but you know, you get the point. He's stunned, but not really stunned. Next fight, we have a Gizmak. Now, this is the fight that is going to showcase what I said was supposed to happen in the previous Nice, but could have been chalked up to Chainbreaker. Right there, the enemy Gizmak got an extra turn because of his A3 skill, I think. When he gets an extra turn, whatever her name is, April O'Neil, is going to use her A2 ability. So she did her A2 ability, just like Fabian. So she did the A2 ability. Gizmak switches forms and still gets a turn. So what happened just now is he did the extra turn, but she placed that debuff after he already did the skill, so the extra turn is still taken. He switches forms, still does his A2 ability. If he would have gotten an extra turn there, it probably would have been blocked, but the Nullify just dropped off anyways. So that's basically useless, to be honest. And you'll see another case of that in just a little while, where it kind of works, but not really. It's actually useless. Now, where it does work is against Fabian. If we take a turn with a champion under fear or true fear, Fabian will try to use his A2 ability to petrify, and she will block that. So she is somewhat of a soft counter to Fabian if you can get that A2 off on him, but specifically only for that A2 activation. Outside that, not much of a counter. Now here, this is a time where it's not really working, but you think it should be working, but it doesn't actually. So what we have is Marichka cleansing. Then she uses her A2. The enemy Queen of Hearts gets an extra turn. See that? Extra turn right there. But when she gets that extra turn, April O'Neil then places Nullify. But since it's after Queen of Hearts placed the extra turn, she still gets her turn. So it's not stopping the turns whatsoever. So you have a Nullify debuff that is extremely specific. Seal is cool, but I mean, you have Carnage, you can do Seal, stopping the effects of a set piece of gear. Really, it's very, very minimal compared to what you would expect, what I expected Nullify to do. This debuff seems basically useless. If you guys got an idea of where it could be used, let me know. But it doesn't stop Mythicals. Their extra turns go past it because they're swap. It does not stop Arnorn because his Stone Skin removes the Nullify debuff. So it just cleanses him to begin with. When Nice switched forms, he cleansed himself anyways. He was going to take a turn. He wasn't locked out of any of his skills. So even if Nullify didn't stop him, you already saw it with Gizmac, he got an extra turn still, even though he was nullified after the instant turn was placed. So switching forms for Mythicals does not actually count as an instant turn or an extra turn or anything like that. And they can still do their turn on the other side. Basically, April O'Neil, to me, seems like a very poor legendary who, if they had a better debuff here, could be very good. She could be amazing if this ability wasn't able to be extended. You can extend it, which is cool, but it's kind of useless because there's no reason to extend it because there's really no reason to even have it from what I notice. Unless, of course, you want to run Wixwell plus Titus in the arena, then I guess you can't extend the shield on Titus to make him do more damage, but I don't see that being meta anytime soon. Now, this could be cool if it was actually a control debuff. You couldn't extend it, so something like stun, sleep, all that kind of stuff. Maybe even lock to 1. If it was protected, that'd be crazy as well. I mean, just nullifying an enemy in my head nullifies the enemy. That's what it says. So I would expect everything to be blocked. The champion is there, but they're not really there. It's like a petrification, basically, but even more. Maybe even more than petrification. Doesn't reduce their damage they take, just nullifies them. That would be great. This, however, is not great. So she has an A2, which is basically useless. The turn meter steal is cool, but you got other champions who can do that. Ultimately, April O'Neil, I don't see her being part of any meta whatsoever in the arena. This ability is cool, having a random control effect. However, there are some much better than others, like stun, freeze, provoke, possibly maybe provoke, probably not provoke because then she just dies. True fear is kind of cool, but sleep, regular fear, it's not really the best. Petrification is nice. Getting the perfect veil is good. But ultimately, guys, let me know what you all think. Is there a test that I messed up on? I missed. Maybe there's something I overlooked that I should have done. But I went through all the teams I could think of, tried her out, tested her out, and ultimately just not doing what I really wanted her to do. I'm not going to be faster than this team, I don't think. But if I could get Leo, if I could steal everything from Leo, actually, let's do this. Let's steal everything from Leo, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. We'll strip everything from everybody. He will place the stone skin on himself. I can almost guarantee this. And remove the nullify. See? Champions with the passive like that, they just cleanse it. And he's still activating skills, so it doesn't even matter. She does get back around to her turns pretty quickly, which is cool. You have the stun there. It's nice. Yeah, it's pretty neat. But, yeah, he's not geared, actually, unfortunately. But, ultimately, it just doesn't seem like she's doing very much at all, honestly. Definitely not what I expected. So who can we use here? Nullify. It's not, the thing is, it's just not doing anything to anybody. I'll nullify the Armons, but he'll use his A2. It's not nullified. It's not nullified at all. Like, check this out. A2, boom. Boosts his turn meter, which is essentially an extra turn anyways. So, there you go, guys. If you missed out on April O'Neil during the 10X, hopefully this video gives you a little bit of an idea maybe what you actually missed out on. However, there is the event going on where if you get all the TMNT collab champions, you will get the reward at the end, which I do think is worth it. And if she's available, I'll get her with low resources invested because right now, if Nullify is left the way it is, it's not good. I really would like to see Plarium adjust it because it doesn't really nullify anything, in my opinion. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video down below. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.